We're keeping an eye on the impacts for Helene right now. Our team meteorologist watching this. Brad, obviously, it's the rain, the precursor to what we're seeing that really is impacting us.
Some of these totals, I mean, it's almost mind-blowing to see some of the totals we've seen already, and this is just the beginning. So it really kind of gives you pause to say, if we've seen this much rain already and the storm isn't even here yet, what's it going to be like later tonight? There's still heavy rainfall, and it has, I mean, maybe let up a little bit, but it's not going to matter much. In the mountains, we continue to see it upslope. And one of the things I'll tell you about this rain moving into the mountains, the radar doesn't do justice. Upslope flow like this, which hits the mountains, the radar won't pick this up. It overshoots a lot of it. And sometimes in these kind of tropical systems, the raindrops can be a little bit smaller than you normally see, so they don't show up on the radar as well. And so this rain continues to push north. There is a break developing down here, so hopefully we'll get into that lull, but I think not until midnight. That will be brief though, because then we see the outer bands of Helene, and Helene's actually going to bring the heaviest rain. Even though there's not as much, it looks like here on the radar, it's actually going to be more intense. And the circulation, the eye is really starting to show itself right now. In fact, it is starting to get stronger and stronger. This will actually become possibly a Category 4 right before landfall. Hurricane hunters are out there. They actually found winds still around 125. We showed you 120. That was actually a typo from the Hurricane Center. The winds are not weakening. They are still around 125, getting stronger, potentially up to 135. So they made the correction, 125. But this is a key part, the forward speed. So this isn't going to be a Hugo for us, but if you remember what happened with Hugo for folks that were here in 1989, part of the reason the winds were so strong all the way into the Charlotte area was the storm was getting stronger right at landfall and it was moving quickly. The combination of those two things brought the strong winds well inland, and we had a hurricane even in Charlotte. So for Atlanta, I said this online, I will reiterate this, this is going to be Atlanta's Hugo as far as winds. But even here locally, we're going to have winds strong enough to knock out power for many locations. Very high power line risk and power outage risk. Winds sustained probably 25 to 35, but for 4 or 5 hours tomorrow morning, we could see gusts 40 to 60. Combined with the wet soil, that will knock down trees and power lines. So when's it going to start? Right now through tomorrow, probably middle of the day. The impacts, a lot of them. Wind, rain, flooding, power outages, and isolated tornadoes. What you need to do, stay aware, charge everything up. If you have battery packs, flashlights, get all that stuff out tonight. Be ready. Make sure you have your app downloaded, WCNC app. Charge your phone, have the volume up, because there's a pretty good chance we could see isolated tornadoes tonight, and those isolated tornadoes could really develop quickly and move very fast across our area. And when that happens, that is going to be the time you need to seek shelter. For more on that tornado risk, now we'll go over to Brittany Van Voorhees talking more about the risk for tornadoes. And Brittany, that threat could increase early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Brad, it's okay. It's been a long day. Yes, we do have an increasing threat for tornadoes, especially tomorrow morning in the Charlotte area. Kind of two big reasons why. One, today we did have some of that severe weather risk lessen because of a lot of rain that helped stabilize the atmosphere. Well, we won't have that necessarily as much overnight because we are going to get that lull in moisture. And the second thing is Helene itself. The center of circulation of Helene is expected to move to our west, as Brad mentioned, places even over toward the Atlanta area, seeing those strongest winds near the center. Well, because of that, think about it. If Helene's all the way over here, the center of circulation, we are on the what's called right front or northeast quadrant. You might have heard it two different ways, which is called the dirty side of a storm. This is oftentimes in tropical storms and hurricanes that we see the biggest risk of rotating storms, quick spin up tornadoes, and this risk is going to arrive mainly overnight when the strongest winds are, when the highest elevation or highest risk there of heavy rain is too, because it's mainly coming in with the storm itself, with Helene. So two things that you want to watch here. The timing, again, after midnight. And the second thing is notice some of these higher numbers. This is the highest risk of seeing some of these quick spin up tornadoes. Well, because of the movement of a cyclone, a tropical system, we have counterclockwise rotation. So the highest risk for tornadoes kind of starts to our south and southeast and essentially rotates around the Charlotte area. So it starts there, goes all the way up toward the mountains before completely dissipating after about 1 o'clock. So I think your best chance to see some of these rotating storms, heaviest wind, of course, strongest winds about 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. On top of that, of course, Brad has been talking a lot about this. These numbers on top of what we've already seen, 3 to even 4 inches across a lot of the Piedmont up toward the mountains. I mean, we have models recording an additional close to a foot of rain. So catastrophic flooding for the mountains and foothills all the way toward the Asheville area. Here's kind of the timing again when it comes to the lull in moisture Brad was talking about. Here's 9 o'clock. After that, we do start to see some drying out periods from the south pushing toward the north, but we are really not out of the woods until we get toward tomorrow afternoon. So here's 9 p.m. You can see it going all the way toward, there it goes. Clicker looks like it's sticking a little bit, but you can see 1 o'clock in the morning. We see drying out periods before that 5 o'clock time frame. That's when we will start to see some of that heavier rain return. And again, this is the heaviest rain we'll have seen so far with Helene, the center, all the way over toward Anderson. And then eventually that does move out by 1 p.m. So here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. We still want you to be weather aware as we head through the day tomorrow, of course, and then eventually we will see better conditions heading toward the weekend ahead.